So hey, how you doing? It's me, Richard Strong. I smoke cigars and I know things. And tonight's cigar is a Mile 82, which is available at Cigars of the Keys in Taverner, Florida, at mile marker 82. That was a tough one to figure out. I probably spoke of it once before. Ecuadorian wrapped, all Nicaraguan. It's a Nicaraguan binder and fillers. And it's also available at the Cousins stores up in Cleveland. And I understand there's a Cousins store in Akron too. Anyways, it is a very, very good smoke and an exceptional value. And I'm not going to tell you what the price is because I really don't want you to buy any of them. Word gets out what the price is, too many people will be buying them, price will go through the roof, and then I won't be able to have enough for me. So that tells you how good the cigar is. And if you can find it, good on you. Salute with an IBC. That's a good pairing. IBC root beer, a Mile 82. So, as you know, I've gotten back on a national thing because if you don't, nobody's changing anybody's mind at this point. I will on occasion point out the absolute absurdity of some of the things, but I would encourage, because I'm seeing in my town, I'm seeing the ugly fascist head of the liberal left rear its ugly head up over at YSU because a Trump supporting former House Republican is stepping down, retiring from Congress, and he's the next president of the Youngstown State. They're worried about all this woke stuff, which is, I don't know if you people that at YSU realize it or not, but we really don't care. This area, we really don't care what you think. You could pretend to be a tractor. I don't care. You can be a tractor. You can call yourself a bear. I don't care. Just stay out of my garbage. I don't want you rooting through my garbage. I'll give you some honey or something. Go away. But to pretend that having an opinion about subjects such as transgender, also known as in mental illness as body dysphoria. Now, it is a well-documented mental illness, okay? And just recently, somebody decided that, well, you could identify as you want, which you can. I don't care. And yeah, some people are going to scream, but I'll tell you what. Give me a gay couple moving into my neighborhood buying a house rather than somebody else, because I guarantee you the gay couple's house looks fantastic. I have yet to go to a gay person's house that wasn't immaculate inside and out and very tastefully done. Period. So as far as that homophobia of conservative Christian Republican hawks, you're looking at one and it don't exist. You're accepted. Everybody's accepted. I mean, you may get some flack from some individual jerks, but in today's society, there is no systemic racism, and there is no reason to teach kids in third grade about sex at all. And the idea that a child that can't choose its own bedtime or can't just say, "I see you later, Pop, Mom. I'm just gonna boogie over here for a while." 8-year-old. I'm gonna take a walk about. Well, when you coming back? Well, I'm not sure. That's gonna happen, right? But that same 8-year-old can say, "I want to be a girl." or I want to be a boy. And then you can complain about, you give them all these drugs that block puberty, and you got girls who are now victims because we didn't buy into your insanity, and we still don't. And it's our right not to. I acknowledge your right to exist. I acknowledge your right to do what you should, but you've never been able to do things, to mutilate children in such a way. So I disagree with our governor, and I'm glad to see that the Republicans in the State House down there, I'm glad to see that they overrode his vetoes. You will be treated as a man by your doctor, as a man who has a physical wound where his junk used to be for the rest of your life. You will never be treated as if you are a female patient. They may refer to you, and they should. Just you decide who you want to be. If you want to be Jane instead of Joe, well, there you go. More power to you. But physiologically, you're still a man. And the invention of stuff like uterus bearers, that came out of AOC's mouth the other day. Jeez, good Lord. Look, it just doesn't compute. I will say that getting involved in my local city, and man, I really encourage anybody out there to get involved. And if you're in Niles, check out my Facebook page, check out the Niles City Council Thoughts and News page. If you're not from Niles, don't bother checking out that. And then you really, don't bother checking out my Facebook page. Well, you can if you want, I don't care. It doesn't mean I'll accept you as a friend. My Facebook page is mostly almost strictly for Niles. I do put some stuff up. I put factual stuff up about topics that I'm interested in. But for the most part, it's all about Niles and cooking, And if the thing that I emphasize in my hometown is that I am a lifelong, I'm going to be 69 in April, and lifelong conservative Republican hawk. And hawk with capital letters and a crapload of apostrophes behind it. I'm a person who believes that in order for the United States and indeed the world to have peace is for an attack on the U.S. to be unthinkable. So, but when it comes to Trumbull County, when it comes to Niles, Ohio, for certain, first, Niles, Trumbull County, I don't care what you are. Right now, the people I back in office are Democrats. I put the mayor's signs in my yard, the current mayor's signs in my yard back when he ran for mayor. I enjoyed talking to him. We had a cigar. We talked about Niles, talked about each other, talked about cigars. It was, it isn't hard to get involved, especially if you live in a town that's like under 25,000 people. So I think we're right around 18. So it's really easy to get involved. And if you went to school there like I did, I moved away for many, many years. I moved away at 17 and I came back permanently at 67. I was 67, right? Yeah, I was 67 when the hurricane hit, and we came back permanently after the hurricane on Sanibel. That was it, we were done. So I was gone from time, I was 16 till the time I was 67, so I was gone for 50 years. Man, the learning curve has been amazing. I'm still looking up. My curve goes up. Jeez. And I'm not certain, but the downside might be uphill too. I don't know. There's so much to learn. So many things have changed about the town. Urban renewal was what a joke that was. What it did was it destroyed a very cute, quaint downtown. However, we now have a blank palette, so it's a blank canvas. It's instead of looking at it as a destroyed downtown, I prefer to look at it as a blank canvas that happens to have a river and a tributary creek that's fairly substantial. The creek is fairly substantial, and the river is moderate for a river, but the creek is a fairly substantial creek. And we have a lot of green area that we can utilize. We have a great housing stock of houses. I bought this house right here for $29,000. I put, about 110 in it. And I got a little bit more I'm putting in the back. And this is where I'm going to live until I die. Like I've said before, you go about 3/4 of a mile north, stop, turn right, and go about 200 yards up the hill. And that's where my plot is. That's where my earthly remains will be. I shall be with the Lord, because Christ is my Savior. Now, being back, it's and starting to get involved. It is a feeling of great satisfaction. There were some people have asked me to run for council, and I have said, well, sure, I would if there was a need. It isn't something that, I woke up and said, I would like to be a councilman. We were moving back here, when I was remodeling this house and restoring this house, because when I bought it, it was horrible. But in restoring this place, I paid attention, and I backed people who I thought were good for the area, and some of them turned out to be good for the area, some of them didn't. Nikki Frenchco, not so much. So if you've been seeing the Trumbull County Commissioner Nikki Frenchco's story on national TV, she is the one that is at fault here. And she has gotten the county sued to the point where by employees winning lawsuits against the county because of her, to the point where the insurance in Trumbull County company is getting ready to boot them, and you can find another insurance company. And watch taxpayers in Trumbull County be paying for that. She is a caustic, ugly person, and yeah, she's a Republican, but the Republican Party in Trumbull County doesn't back her. Last I knew, they threw her off the property. But so she is not a nice person, and sadly. First off, the conspiracy between Frank Fuda and others and the sheriffs, that's utter nonsense. But, I really believe that the sheriff and the two deputies allowed themselves to get baited into this. And I understand what they did. And the Calabrese and Judge, you got to be joking when you say we don't prosecute people for their political views. You must be nuts. Just because Nikki Frenchco claims to be a Republican Party here doesn't support her. This Republican doesn't support her. I don't believe she's a Republican at all. I know that she was registered, I forget how many years ago, as a Democrat, something I've never been registered as. And so. If you're seeing that Nikki Frenchco story, don't you believe it. Do a little bit more investigating. You'll find out what I say is true. Tonight, I do a broadcast on that Niles City Council Thoughts and News Facebook page. It's about an hour long. And you have the third ward, of which this house is in the third ward. You have the current third ward councilman, James Sheely, in. And we're going to talk live on Facebook with the citizens of Niles. And hopefully they'll, we got people that all the time come in, and so we've only done 2 broadcasts so far. One was a test broadcast. The first official broadcast was Councilwoman Deveridge from the 1st Ward. And where's it, the 4th Ward? Sorry, Mindy, I forgot which ward. There's 4 wards. They're so hard to keep track of. So that's what, I mean, it really is easy to get involved in. Social media generally is good for, as far as I'm concerned, for making you mad as a tool for propaganda, or for keeping in touch with friends and family so they can actually see things, Like, for instance, if my grandchildren ever looked on the Facebook page, they would see the way the inside of my house looks. If they ever watched, or my YouTube channel, they would see what my house looks like, too. So there's that. And when you're in a small town and you don't allow people to bully anybody, you don't allow insult, you only allow pertinent, proper communication. When you don't allow that, and you just say, whenever's at the end of your name has no place in this discussion. This is about Niles. You'd be amazed. So I'm hoping that Facebook thing grows. I would love to see it. I would love to see it get up there. And my wife has just come home, so I'm gonna say, see ya, and you have a blessed evening. God willing, I'll talk to you again.